Hey everybody, welcome to our weekly Ask Me Anything live stream here on TikTok. For the next hour, we are answering your questions. We are going to be giving away books. I've got some announcements we are going to be dropping today and some special bonus things. So I'm really excited for this. And if you did not catch the pre-show, we gave you a really good book idea that you can take from my real life and turn into a writing prompt, a short story, a novel, or whatever, because I'm not going to write about my life, but you totally can. So I hope you caught the pre-show. We're jumping in today, and I am coming with announcements, a lot of them. I'm so excited for this one, but go ahead and start dropping your questions down into the comments. I'm super excited to get those answered for you and hang out for the next hour. And remember, the more you talk to me, the more likely you are to win your choice of my ebooks. Everything's up for grabs except for the omnibuses, because that's more than one book in one. And I don't limit how many times you can win, so the more you show up, the more you can win. All I'm saying. All right, guys, let's dive in. Let's have a conversation. If you have not been paying attention, and I hope y'all have, we have informed you here on TikTok. We've informed you on Instagram and the other social platforms that I am dropping Christmas presents from now until December 21st, 24th, 5th, 25th, 25th. Oh my gosh. 25th. Y'all, until Christmas, we've got presents, and then I have presents after Christmas. Y'all, I got presents. So, I have let you guys know at least one of them. The Jaded Christmas bonus scene, which I do now realize is backwards. There we go. The Jaded Christmas bonus scene is going to be released in the newsletter this week. So if you're not on my newsletter, you have to go to newsletter.kmrobinsonbooks.com. KM Robinson Books. Snap it if you need to. Get yourself signed up, because I am going to be sending out some bonus scenes. I have a Christmas short story that I will be sharing with you that was actually my very first published piece. It's a contemporary story. I'm going to be sharing it with you guys. It's super cute. It's actually NA. But I'm very excited. I'm going to be giving you holiday presents all the way from now until Christmas. So it's going to be lots and lots of fun. I have been telling you that I have a big surprise that I'm working on. It is coming out next week, but I can't tell you too much about it. I will say I'm just about done with it. I am like putting the finishing touches on it today. Then we're going to pretty it up and we're going to give it to you. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. Not give, but like, that's part of the secret. If you have been paying attention, you kind of can guess what's going on. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. Let me go ahead and let me jump in. I'm going to answer some of these questions I see coming in, and then we'll talk more about some of my announcements. All right, let's see. Hey, hello. How do you introduce a new character? I mean, you introduce them. If you walk them onto the page, you have to give them a reason to be there. Give them a reason to be sticking around. It really comes down to how you are, what scene you're writing, like what makes sense inside of the story. That is really very much a broad question, and you're going to have to, actually you can't, because I'm not giving writing advice in this one, or to anyone who does not pay me to do developmental edits, but that is something like you would have to be very specific to that scene to get a specific answer to your story. But like, how do people introduce characters? Read some books, see how people do it. They just kind of walk in for a reason, and then you give them a reason to stick around. If you ever had to write a character out of a book, who would it be? Oh, like I had to remove one of my characters from one of my books? Can I choose a villain? Because that would make it a lot easier. What made me want to be an author? I didn't want to be an author. That was never my intent. I had always been in the reading space, and I couldn't find a book that I wanted to read, so I wrote it, and then I wrote another one, and then I wrote another one, and then some people found out, and they forced me to query. I had a bunch of agents and publishers make offers and offer me a contract, and I turned them all down because I didn't like the terms, and I waited an entire year before I finally found the right fit for it, and here I am 3.5 years later as a best-selling author of over 24 published books, and tons of them sitting here waiting for me to do something with them. So it was never my intent to be an author. In fact, I had been under the impression that it was a very hard industry to get into, that you had to be like super trained and have all these connections, like all these things, and that's just false. So much false stuff going around, especially because the industry is changing so dramatically with the rise of the indie publishing part of the industry. The I'm like, how do I word this properly? There's so much money and so much growth coming from the indie world. I'm a hybrid I'm a hybrid author, so that means I'm published traditionally and indie, and I make so much more money as an indie author, like insanely more money. And all of my fame has come from my indie work. So there's like so many resources, so many things available to you. And we'd always been told growing up, like, no, you have to have a secure job and like all these things. So being an author, never even on my radar because I didn't think it was possible. But it is. And I've got more of that on my YouTube page, so you can go check that out as well. Oh, favorite TV show. I don't watch a lot of TV, and yes, I also do watch a lot of TV. I like things that are like crime type stuff, like Criminal Minds, NCIS, like CIA type stuff, spy type stuff, FBI type stuff. Like, I like all that. I like things like This Is Us and A Million Little Things that just like make you sad every week. It's kind of nice and cathartic. I'm very bad at this. I don't know. There's like lots of things. You're reading the selection, you're on the second book. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you have jumped into the selection series. You love my look today. Thank you. I just went shopping the other day for some Christmas presents, and I saw a couple shirts like this on sale, and I'm like, yes, I have a coupon. I can do that. So here we are. You're new here. Hey, I'm glad that you all are joining. Do I like the selection series? Yes. Yep, it's one of the books that inspired me to jump into the writing world. Who is your secret book boyfriend from another author's books? Oh, man. Well, I love Ford from Divergent. I love Cole from A Sinner series. Let me go with those as my top two. Yeah, that'd be it. Things are jumping again. Is there one author or authors you have beef with? Well, first off, that's not something you would discuss anyway. You have to be professional in a professional industry. But, I mean, like, no. If you're a mature, responsible human being, no. You do not have to fight with people. You do not have to cause drama. You do not have to live in drama. So if there's someone you don't particularly vibe very well with, leave and move and go be yourself somewhere else. It's a great thing. There are dramatic people in this industry, just like with any industry, but the smart people stay away from that kind of thing because it's not healthy, it's not good, it doesn't help anybody. And if you stay in your own lane, put your head down and do your work, you're going to succeed a lot better, a lot faster, and a lot stronger. Yes to Criminal Minds, I know. What made me want to write fairy tale spin-offs? And you're glad that I did. That is a good question, Kara. So I actually, when I first started writing, I wrote 2 dystopian novels that y'all have never seen because we haven't published them. I had bidding wars going on for them, but I haven't signed them anywhere. I hadn't done anything with them, and I wanted my debut to be my Goldilocks retelling, and so I always knew I wanted to tell her story because they totally botched her story in the original. Like, why would some girl walk into a house, set up shop, and then run away when the family showed back up? I was also very upset because Goldilocks had gold hair, not white blonde hair, and everybody portrayed her wrong. Growing up, I got out in the sun a little bit more. I didn't live in a cave, so my hair was a bit lighter than this, and if you went and matched it to any hair dye in the store, it was gold. It was the color gold. And so when they put her as a white blonde girl, that just, like, is wrong. So I wanted to right the wrongs. I wanted to fix the story and make it more logical. So I told her story. She was a spy. She was sent there to destroy the bears, and her mission was to infiltrate their family and just report back to her only remaining relative and destroy them. It was very interesting, and as soon as I knew why she was there, the whole story just fell into place. And then that one was a huge success. Retellings sell really, really well in the YA industry and in general. And so I knew I wanted to tell more retellings. I knew I wanted to do more dramatic twists on stories, and I also knew that that's what would make me money. So so we very strongly lean into it because of my love for it, but also money, which is what we hang out for as authors. We can't not spend months and months and years of our life reading things to not make money. Hey, thanks so much for joining, guys. What is your favorite book to write? I love my Golden Trilogy and my Jaded Duology. Those are my debut twins. They came out just a couple weeks apart, and they hold very special places in my heart. So those are my favorites of my stories. Scrolling back up. Are my characters inspired off of anyone? No, I never write characters based off of real people because they could come back and sue me for that. So we don't ever do that. But also, I don't want to think of people so much so that they influence my writing. My writing is totally and uniquely from my brain, from my imagination, from my knowledge, and I don't want that to be given to anybody else. So I create everything all on my own. Now, I have found similarities between my characters and people later on. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have written vicious villains, and then people in my life have, like, started doing the things that the villains did, and I'm like, when did you turn into the commander? When did that happen? So it kind of happens after the fact, but I don't write my characters or pattern my characters off of anybody, including looks. Do you have any common tropes that you most likely will never write? Well, I'm not a fan of, like, shifters or love triangles, and so I always said I would never, ever, ever write that kind of thing. I don't like reading it. I don't like it being anywhere near it. Then let me introduce you to Mulan Dragon Shifter that is, like, everything that I said I would never write put in one book. It happens. Which of my books do I want to be made into a movie the most? Well, I would be very careful about turning my books into movies or TV shows. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot behind the scenes, and if you ever find yourself in a position where you have creative properties that could potentially be turned into these, please come talk to me, because I know a lot of the behind the scenes things. I will tell you a lot of the red flags to look for and a lot of the green lights that you should be looking for as well. And then that comes down to, that specific question boils down to what's going to be best suited for movies and what's best suited for TV shows and what's best suited for something else. So each story is going to be geared a little bit differently toward a different type of production. So, my Mermaid series would be really, really cool, but to do that as a television show every single week with all the CGI that would be necessary and, like, all the water work, that would be a very expensive production. So maybe that would be better suited toward a movie, but also it's a very long story, so they would have to seriously condense it into a movie script, which means a lot would get left out. Golden would be really, really good as a movie, but also really, really good as a weekly episodic show. So I don't know. Is basically what it comes down to. It would, if the opportunity were to present itself, it would really come down to the script writers and the people who are creating it, how much money they could get for it, what like Netflix or Hulu or whatever stations would be potentially interested in buying it. It would all come down to that, and then how the story is written, specifically whether it leans itself toward TV shows or movies. There may or may not be a screenplay of one of my books happening right now. I don't know what to tell you. And I've got lots of friends who also have gone through this process, so I have a lot of information on this, but I think it would be really cool to see, like, I feel like Jaded would be cool, I feel like Golden would be cool, I feel like Lions and Lamps would be really neat as production. Those would probably be I'm, like, glancing at my covers right now, those would probably be my top 3 to see as cool productions, but I don't know. If they're a fairy tale, I think it missed a word somewhere. The fairy tale that you would never want to do a retelling for. Oh, is there a fairy tale that you would never want to do a retelling for if you have one? I mean, I only write my retellings if I have a big dramatic twist to it. I know that there are things that I haven't heard of yet that I might be interested in doing, or maybe I'm not. I definitely have a retelling that I wrote that I had never heard of before until someone specifically requested it from me. It's not my favorite original story, and I definitely made it better, but it's not something like a deep love of mine. It is not something I'm strongly connected to, so, I mean, I've done things that I don't particularly care for other people, but I'd never say never, because if I can come up with a good twist for it, yeah, I'll write that. Are your books at libraries? Yeah, all sorts of libraries. Libraries and bookstores are responsible for their own book purchases and what they have in stock. So each individual store is responsible for that. Now, big chains do have some that are like national books in all the stores, but it also has individual purchases by individual stores. So some authors are in bookstores nationally, some are in more local areas. Usually it comes down to like recent releases can be found more in bookstores. But sorry, I'm like trying to get my water done while I'm processing this. Usually it's more recent releases, unless it's like a big name title like The Selection or Harry Potter or Hunger Games. They kind of keep those in stock all the time because people always come in to buy those. But it's really up to their own discretion. So you can walk into any library and any bookstore and ask them to order things for you. They can and they will. Libraries are in charge of their own purchases. My mother was the director of a library, so I know all about the library systems. You can go in and request them to do it, and they can get that for you. Or they can choose to do an interlibrary loan, which means they can borrow it from another library that has it so that you can get access to it. So you just have to go in and ask. If you don't see it on the shelves, do not be afraid to ask, because that's how they know that you want to read it and other people will want to read it too. Do you have any tips to write healthy romantic relationships? I mean, yes. Don't be toxic. If you know something is unhealthy for people to be experiencing, please don't write that. Like there's genres out there that are like very unhealthy with their relationships. There's like bully romance, like all sorts of stuff that I'm not cool with, but some people are. So really you just need to kind of identify in general, what is a healthy relationship, and then write that into your book. Would you let your best friend date somebody who behaves like that? If not, maybe don't write that in the book. Or make sure that they're aware that this is a thing and they fix it during the course of the book. There's a lot that goes into this, but we're not super talking about writing theory today because this is more of a Q&A. So check out the YouTube page. Make sure you are reading like books on writing and then following and researching how to do these things properly. That's just not as much what we're doing today as we're hanging out. So it's a win-win. Oh, you like my hat? Thank you. I just finished my first book, Any Tips for Publishing, youtube.com/KMRobinsonBooks. Tons and tons of videos on next steps to take. You're late. Oh, I'm sorry that you are late, but I'm glad that you are here now. I appreciate you jumping in. Ooh, hang on. I'm trying to find your books an audiobook. Are they audiobooks? No, those are super expensive to make, and Audible was not paying their authors. We just got them to agree to pay their authors. They had been promoting a part of their program where you could exchange audiobooks without any questions asked up to a year later. And when you exchanged them, what it was taking the money away from that author. So if you had listened to a full audiobook, they would take that money away from the author and not pay them, even though you listened to their book. And they're locked into a 7-year contract with Audible. So a lot of authors were losing hundreds or thousands of dollars because people were exchanging their books. So everybody in the publishing industry came to them and said, no, this is unacceptable. And they have just, I think it was last week, announced that people have up to 7 days to exchange those. And if it's within that 7-day period of them getting that Audible book, they then take the money away from the author. So if it's within the first 7 days, they take that money away and it goes to whatever else. But if it's after the 7 days, the author still gets paid for it, even though they do the exchange. It's not a great win, but at least it is part of a win, and we can kind of move forward with this. Please note that even though they were taking money away from the author, Audible still got paid, no matter what. So it was only hurting the authors. So we have taken steps forward to kind of get that fixed. But it costs literal thousands of dollars to produce every single one of those audiobooks. So it is extremely expensive. So unless an author is making, or a publisher is making a ton of money off the books, they're probably not going to be making audiobooks. I have, in my life, many people who are professional audiobook narrators. I am talking like 7 or 8 people who all want me to do my audiobooks with them. And so my solution to this is recording my own audiobooks, and I just haven't had the time to do that yet, which, by the way, will save me a lot of money. And now that Audible has kind of corrected themselves, we can start to move forward with those things, but I haven't had time to record things yet because it comes down to write a book or record a book you've already written. So here we are. But if you do want to listen to me reading things poorly, it's not great over on my YouTube page, but I have read the first chapters of almost all of my books, I think, or all of my books over on YouTube. You can go check those out. With audiobooks, you have the ability to go back and like fix a line if you stumble over it. You don't on a live stream, but you can go listen to me read all of the fun books, first couple of chapters over there. You just got to the halfway point on your manuscript. Cool. Have you ever read books by the author Haddix? No, I have not. Any tips for what to do when looking for original art for book covers? Yes, please hire a professional, not somebody who says, I'm good with Photoshop, I'm going to hang up my shingle, I'm going to be a cover designer. That will get you in trouble. Your cover will make or break your sales, period. Just because you've got a great book, just because you have a great blurb, doesn't mean you're going to make sales. People judge a book by its cover, so you have to find a good quality cover designer who understands how to do composite imagery, how to do appropriate fonts and text. You have to make sure of a lot of things. So if you're not sure of where to hire someone to do your book cover, go into author groups and look for threads on good covers. You can go to cover groups and do it, or, and this is a shameless self-promotion plug here, coveraday.com, where I design pre-made and custom covers. And you can watch me do it every single Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube page, where you actually get to see me do it in real time and get to give your opinions and help make decisions. So go check those out. And if you have a question on a cover that you're looking at by another designer, please feel free to ask me. I will tell you if there are things you need to watch for or fix, or like things that will hurt your sales. It will not offend me that you're not hiring me to do your cover. I want you to succeed and grow, and if you have a cover that you think you like, please come ask me. I will tell you if you are in trouble with that cover or not, and what needs to be taken care of, or if you should be looking elsewhere. Okay. How much of a say do you get in cover design? Because I love your covers. Okay, so this is a great question. If you are in the traditional space, if you have a traditional publisher, you as the author get zero say, absolutely nothing. That means you can have a cover model who is the wrong skin tone. That means that you can have things tipped sideways in your cover and they're not going to do anything about it. You get zero say. Occasionally they'll be like, do you like this? And you can point out one or two small things and maybe they'll tweak them for you, but you really don't get any say. The publisher is entirely in charge and they get to do what they want to do. If you are in the indie space, you get to hire your own designer, and that means they are designing for you. If you don't like it, it needs to be fixed. So you get all the say as indie. Now, I am traditionally and indie published, which means I am hybrid published. So I have designed all of my covers except for one of my books that was with a traditional publisher who had to use their in-house person. So everything but one of my covers is mine. And I have done that because I have 18 years of graphic design experience professionally. Thumbelina Retelling shout out. It's jumping. What books have I written? Oh, goodness. I've written over 24 books. If you can go to any of the book buying platforms, you can search my name, KM Robinson, and all of them will come up for you. They are bestsellers, number 774 and 87 bestseller of every book in existence on Amazon, and all of my books have been number 1 in all of their categories. Hello, thanks for jumping in. Do I listen to music when I write? And no, I don't, because I will sit there and sing, and then I will sit there and type the lyrics into my story. It is a problem. So no, I write in quiet. If I occasionally listen to music, it's more of like an instrumental Lindsey Sterling type thing, or something that is so ingrained in my brain that it becomes white noise. So like Alan Walker music, Taylor Swift music, I can just like play that in the background, and I don't type it because it's just white noise to me at this point. Are there any types of genres that you don't like to write? Yeah, I specifically write young adult sci-fi and fantasy books. I don't really write outside of those realms. So I don't write contemporary, I don't write paranormal, I don't write like adult stuff, I don't write middle grades. That's kind of where we're at. I niched down, which means I make more sales because people know me as the queen of retellings, or someone who is very strategically placed inside of the dystopian world, and that definitely bumps sales up. Wow, I never knew that about Audible. I know, it was a huge, great big giant thing. Anything I'd recommend instead of Audible because you don't like it? Well, I mean, it's not that I don't like it, it's that they were not paying their authors, which is not okay. They are working to fix that, so if you are working with Audible, that's fine. Just please be mindful that it takes money away from authors if you are exchanging it quickly. So let's just say you grab an audiobook and you listen to it on the first day and then you go to exchange it. That author then loses that money, even if you liked it. So be conscientious. If you are going to maybe game the system a little bit and try trading those in like it's a library instead of a listening service, then please be respectful and wait until after that 7 days so that author still gets paid. And if you liked it, like, then you listen to the book that you liked and you're good to go. But there are lots of other services out there. I am not super on top of what those are because I don't do audiobooks at this time. But I am going to be researching those because I am going to be creating audiobooks at some point. So I'll get back to you on that one. I don't know what I was preaching about, but I'm glad you liked it. You like my necklace. Thank you so much. You reading the first few chapters drove me to try to find the audiobooks. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, goodness. Hey, everybody jumping in. I'm appreciating all of your great comments. Go ahead and keep dropping those questions. We are hanging out for another half an hour. We are giving away books. The more you talk to me, the more likely you are to win. Don't forget, I am dropping Christmas presents until Christmas. I don't know why I sang that. But the Jaded Christmas bonus scene, and that's coming out in the newsletter on next week. Yeah, next week. I've got that Christmas short story I'm going to be giving out to you guys. I've got that special surprise coming probably next week. I got some cool stuff. It's going to be lots of fun. I do hope you're sticking around for all of the fun there. Amber, hey, thanks for jumping in. What was my favorite book to write? The Golden Trilogy and the Jaded Duology were my debut twins. They came out just a couple weeks apart, and they hold very dear spaces in my heart. So those are probably my two favorites to have written, although, woohoo, I'm doing some cool stuff right now you guys are going to be very interested in seeing. You are awesome to help others. Oh, thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Do you travel places to get inspiration? If you do, what was your favorite place you traveled? I want to say that I have traveled for inspiration. What I can say is that when I was writing certain books, I would have loved to have traveled places, but it was not a possibility at the time. I have gone and done things after. I've gone and done things for marketing after, but I've always said that I do one day intend on writing some of these like really cool books set in other places that I want to go travel, and I'm going to do it. I just have to wait for this pandemic to be done. But I'm totally going to travel, like, Europe and, like, all these fun, fabulous things, and I have plans, y'all. Plans for this, but I have not been able to specifically travel for a book yet. I do a lot of traveling, not just for book purposes yet. Favorite book, movie adaptation. I like what they did with The Hunger Games. I was devastated by what they did to Divergent. Thoughts on writing fan fiction. So fan fiction is copyright infringement. You can get sued for that. It's illegal. Please don't do it. There's no other way around. I know people are like, no, it's okay. It's not. It's illegal. Please don't. You know those things at the beginning of movies where it's like $250 worth of fines per infraction for the things that you do here? That applies. Please don't write fan fiction unless you have permission from the person who holds the rights. It is the person who holds the rights. So if the author has sold it to a publisher, they hold the rights. So you have to get permission from the author and the publisher. If it is an indie published author, you do have to get permission from them to be able to do that. And technically that also applies to like fan art and cosplays because it is their intellectual property. Now most authors are like, team, yes, please do the fan art and do the cosplays, but fan fiction, most people are not thrilled with, and because it like manipulates their characters and the stories that they've written, you definitely could get sued for that. Don't do it. What's your least favorite? Oh, I covered that one. Yep. Let's see. Oh, you like my hat? Thank you. I've had this hat for ages. I'm a hat person, so I like have collections of hats. I just got a couple new hats the other day. They haven't arrived yet, but I'm super excited for them. Do you recommend any other writing platforms besides Wattpad? I don't recommend Wattpad. Period. If you are going to publish a book through the internet, you should be getting paid for this. So go to somewhere like Radish. They will assess your writing quality, make sure that it is good enough to go out to the public, and then you can get paid off of your writing. But don't just like put things on Wattpad. That's not going to help your career. And that also breeds a group of followers that expect free things all the time. So when you make the transition to having an actual published book and ebook and all those things in the professional world, those people are going to get really, really upset that they no longer can get your stuff for free, and the backlash is not worth it. Go to somewhere like Radish. Radish is definitely a better choice for you. Where do you get your ideas? Because I have no idea what to write about. Well, I have a never-ending fount of ideas. It's like list after list after list after list after list of things that I could be doing. So my advice to you is to start a note on your phone and then start looking around. What type of genre do you want to write in? Identify the genres you want to write in and start thinking of ideas. Well, what if this kind of thing happened in a dystopian world? Or what if this kind of thing happened in a magical realm? Or what if there was a magical academy and this situation happened, this crazy, insane situation happened? What would happen from that? And that's going to start to spur some ideas. But if you struggle to come up with ideas, I would recommend that you try doing like writing prompts and things like that. So if you pay attention to my TikTok, I've got some of those out there. I do jump on our weekly live streams here 10 minutes early, and I give you prompts so that you can either write it as a prompt, a short story, or a novel. So I'm literally giving you ideas for that, but start looking for writing prompts. There are apps out there that you can actually get daily writing prompts from, and that could potentially help to spur you on. The more you train yourself to write and come up with creative ideas and spins on things, the easier it's going to be for you. All right, hey guys, excited that you are jumping in here. Do I read fanfiction? And if you do, what do you think of fanfiction to film adaptations? No, I don't read fanfiction, because again, that's copyright infringement, and I'm not going to support something that is taking away the rights of the actual author. So it's very, very important to respect their work. It takes so long. It can take months, it can take years to write a book, and to disrespect an author's work like that doesn't sit well with me. That's not okay, and also it's illegal, so that's where we're at. Thank you for appreciating my smile. I appreciate it. How do I get the motivation to write? Well, writing is my job, so I treat it like a job. I don't give myself permission to need motivation to do it. It's my job. If I'm a chef, I have to go to work and I have to cook food whether I want to or not. If I'm a candle maker, I have to get myself in front of my candle making stuff and make those candles, because otherwise I don't get paid. If I'm a teacher, even if I'm exhausted and I don't want to go to work and deal with children, I have to go because that's my job, and nobody else is going to do it. Nobody's going to do your writing. So I treat my writing like a job, and I sit down, and when I sit down, I write for whatever period of time I have designated to write every single time. It means I don't hit roadblocks. It means I don't question myself. It means I knock out the words. It means I can write an entire something special for you in a day. You're welcome. Surprises. But I always treat it like a job, because it is a job, period. It's a fun job, but it's a job. And if it's not a job, then it's a hobby, and it doesn't matter if you write or not. So it really just comes down to whether or not you want it to be a job and get paid for your writing, which is important. How long does it generally take me to write a book? I can write a full-length novel in 9.5 days because I am dang good at what I do, and I've trained myself to treat it like a job and actually get my stuff written. Now that is a lot, and most people can't do that. Most people take a few months to write a book. Please don't try to be like me. But there are a handful of us out there that can write really, really fast. I know a couple of people that can write faster than me, and I have been known to write full-length novels in 9.5 days, self-edit it, turn it into my editor, and have it turned back to me with only a couple of typos. And that is on dedication and practicing what I am doing inside of my business. What are your best tips for writing? YouTube.com/KMRobinsonBooks. Lots of things over there. Which book took the shortest time to write? I don't know how to answer this one ever because I've got a lot of different books, and I've got a lot of different books at different sizes. So I have novelettes, which are very short stories. I've got novellas, which are shorter stories. I've got novels, which are full-length things. And I just write really fast. And I have had my shorter books take longer to write than some of my full-length novels, depending on when in my career I wrote them. So back in the beginning, I was obviously a lot slower at writing than I am now. Now I can get a book done in 9.5 days if I really want to. So I actually have no idea because I haven't kept track of how long it took me to write things, aside from the 9.5 day novels. Those I was hyper aware of, but other than that, I don't actually keep track of how many days it takes me to write my books. I really probably should do that. All right, let's see. You're going to subscribe. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, no, please don't be writing fan fiction about people. That's not something you can do without paying to use their name and their likeness and all these things, and you can get seriously sued for that. Kara, I'm so glad that you think I'm a nice author. I appreciate that. George is here. Yes, it can take years to write books. It's a process. To write a book. So please, please, please be respectful of these authors and pay the couple of dollars for their book. It's years of their life. They've earned it. No, fan fiction about people, also not okay, because it's still their likeness. You are using their name, their image, everything they built on their brand. You can get seriously sued for that. Don't do it. Favorite book that I've written so far. Golden and Jaded are my debut twins. They are the loves of my life. They are my babies. Okay, here we go. You're excited for next week? Is your something? Oh, your winter break starts. That's so exciting. Yay for winter break. I love your hat. Is such a vibe. Thank you. I love hats. I am such a hat person. I'm like a sunglasses kind of girl, but I don't usually wear them. But y'all have seen my fake glasses for my TikToks. They don't have lenses in them, but they're really cute on my face. I'm just saying. But I'm definitely a hat girl. Give me all the hats. Every time that I say I write a book in 9 days, I know it is crazy, and it's because I have honed my skills so greatly. I didn't start out this way. I trained myself to be this way, just like anybody in any industry can train themselves to be better. I trained myself to write that fast and that well and that succinct so that I don't have a ton of errors in it, and it doesn't take me a ton of time to get through it. Have I ever had writer's block, and how do you deal with it? We do have stuff on that over on my YouTube page, so you can go check that out. But the more that you train yourself to write consistently, the less you hit writer's block. So when you train yourself to sit down and write, you're always going to write. At the beginning, it's like training for a marathon. So you're going to start to kind of run, and then you're going to get winded. You are going to have to build up your stamina for that. Just like that, you are going to have to build up your stamina for writing. So the more you do it, the more you are prepared for that marathon, and the easier it becomes to write. Now, if you still struggle with writing, plot your book. Stop pantsing your book. If you plot your book, you know exactly where you're writing, and you don't have to question yourself as you are going. Stuff on that over on the YouTube page. Golden is great. You love Dove. He's my favorite. Can we just talk about my favorite book boyfriend? Oh, he's just the best. I just love that. Send me all your love for Dove, guys. You're excited for winter break, so you have time to read. That's exciting, Kara. What's writer's block? Writer's block is where you are writing a story and you kind of hit a wall and you don't know where to go next and you can't move forward in your story. So some people will not know where they're going and they just sit there and stare at their computer for a long time, or they walk away and they don't come back to write for a very long time. You can avoid writer's block and not knowing where to go next by, 1, training yourself to actually do your work, and 2, by plotting your book. And sometimes it's a combination of both. Sometimes it's either or. But the more you do it, the more strategically you do it, the more consistently you do it, the better you get at it, and the less you have to worry about writer's block. Do I like the Titanic movie? Yes, I do. is Google Docs a good platform to write on? It is definitely an option. There are lots of options out there. Typically, like the big kind of three that people write in are Word doc, Google Doc, or in Scrivener. But we actually have the Show Me How You Write series over on my YouTube page. First 3 episodes are out now. It actually shows you on-screen process for how bestseller and award-winning authors write. So you can go on and see every document I have up on my screen as I'm writing, how I do it, what I'm using, all those things. You can also see other authors as well. We've had J.J. King on, and we had, oh gosh, which one went out this week? I actually have to look it up. I don't remember because I'm editing ahead. And I don't remember which one is up. It's... oh my goodness. Hold on. We're looking. I know. Why are we doing this? This is not the right one. Oh, yes, it is. There it is. I typed in my thing and it didn't work. Oh, Gina E. Mann, of course. I'm editing like 4 or 5 ahead. I don't know where we're at. But you can see how all of those ladies write, and they share the programs that they use, all those fabulous things, so you go check that out over there and see which is going to be the best fit for you and which things you can piece together to make your own writing strategy. Do you write outlines before writing, or do you just start writing? No, I do not. I do recommend that you plot your book and you've got those outlines, especially if you're new. But I'm at the point in my career where I definitely don't have to do that. I know kind of the beginning, the middle, and the end of my books and some of the stepping stones in between, but then I work my way to it as I go, finding things out as I go, kind of. So I'm in between plotting and pantsing. Plotting is where you know every single stepping stone along the way, and you just write it. Pantsing is where you figure everything out as you go. I'm in between. So I know, and I have a goal I'm working toward and goals that I'm working toward, but I don't know every tiny little step. So I don't have to, because I know where I'm writing toward, and I can just write it. You just got my box set! I'm so excited. I'm sorry I squeaked there. But yeah, that's a good, and if you got the box set, that means you got a bonus story. Congrats. Dove has your whole heart. Mine too. I don't know if I have a favorite song. Let me just claim Christmas songs right now, because we're in December as we're doing this TikTok live. And so I'm just going to say Christmas songs. We're going with Christmas music right now. Is there going to be a book 2 to Sugarcoated? I did not intend on doing a sequel. I've been asked many times to do a sequel to my Hansel and Gretel's Witch retelling. It is something I'm considering, but I have a very long list of books that I also have to do, so it's not at the top of my list right this very second. What you think happened. Oh, but wouldn't you be surprised what happens next? Because I do know what would happen in a sequel. I just haven't written it yet. Favorite colors are purple and pink. My favorite authors, I credit Veronica Roth of Divergent, Suzanne Collins of The Hunger Games, Kara Cass of the Selection series, and Abby Kettner and Missy Kalikiki of A Sinner series, with being the most influential on my writing. Would you recommend starting a new profile here from scratch to connect with readers, or to stay with one? George, I feel like I want a little more information on this. Are you talking about starting a new TikTok here on, or a new account here on TikTok to then connect with your readers, or stick with the one you're already building up? If your account, just in general, like we're talking social media strategy now, which you guys know I do professionally outside of being an author. If you have an account, you do need to be niched down on it. You need to be known for a specific thing. If you are doing like stuff about your life, and stuff about your shopping trips and books, and you're also talking about your cat, you're talking about Starbucks, and you're talking about how to make Starbucks drinks, and you're talking about like all these things, people don't know who you are. They don't know how to define you. They can't put you in a box saying, I understand this person. And if they can't understand you, they're not going to follow you. So if you are an author, like a published author, professional author, and you are trying to connect with your fan base or a new fan base, you should have an account specific to talking about books and bookish things and your books and like stuff like that. If you're doing a bunch of extra stuff on it, kick that out. That needs to go. If you want to do a personal thing, fine. But make sure that your author stuff is narrowed down to your author stuff. If you are a reader, then you are talking about book stuff. If you're talking about bookish stuff, you're not talking about all this other stuff. if you are an aspiring author, you're not published yet. You don't have stuff out there. So keep it to those books, and then you can expand it into your author stuff when the time comes. So be as niche down, be as specific as possible, because if people can't understand you, just from a very, very easy first quick glance at your account, if they don't clearly see who you are and what you're about, they will leave. You can't confuse them if you don't want to lose them. You're writing 2 books at once. Is that okay? It is okay. Back in the day, I used to, when I was a baby author, I used to write 2 books so that when I hit a wall with one, I could bounce to the other. Just keep in mind, if you're working on this book and also this book, you're not going to get there nearly as fast. If you have 2 holes in the sand at the beach and you're trying to fill them both, you could take all the sand and just push it into one, and then it's done. It's ready to go. But if you put a little bit here, and then a little bit here, and a little bit here, and a little bit here, it takes forever to get to it where it's actually filled in. Likewise with a book, if you are dividing your time between 2 manuscripts, it is going to double the time to get those done. So you have to make the choice. What's more important to you? Getting a book done so that you can then take the next steps, or playing around with 2 of them. It really comes down to priorities, and there's no right or wrong in that. You just have to be aware that you are choosing how you spend your time and how quickly you're moving forward in this industry. So make that choice based on what you need to do for you. Hi, hello. I'm excited that y'all are jumping in and joining. Hi, Ajuni. I hope I said that right. If not, please let me know. Have I ever used the same name on a character and not figured it out until later? I have almost named characters the same thing. Like, if there's a name, it just feels like it's a name that I wanted to use, but I haven't used yet, and then I'll, like, go to write, I'm like, wait a minute, wait, and I search my files, and then I'll pick another name. But I catch myself before I actually do it. I might have, like, written it once or twice in the manuscript as I'm, like, introducing that character, and then I'll catch myself, because, you know, it starts to feel like a familiar name, like, wait a minute, I did that. And then you double check and you find out you did. How has my day been? My day has been busy. I have been working hardcore on a surprise for you. My day has been spent running my businesses, doing all the cool things, and doing a really big surprise for you, which I'm almost done with. Oh, guys, I'm so close. I'm so close. After we leave today's live stream, I'm actually headed to a big family event dinner type thing. And then as soon as I get back, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to send it to the appropriate people. And then later next week, I'm going to tell you all about it. The thing I've been teasing you for a little bit, but it's almost done. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be really, really good. So stay tuned. Hi, hello. If you could choose only one character from one of your books, who would be your favorite? Dove Bear from the Golden Trilogy. I am not ashamed to say that. Also Jade from the Jade Duology, and Illyria from the Golden Trilogy, and Annika and Hansel from Sugarcoat, and I'm gonna stop now, but like, there you go. Waffles or pancakes? Oh man. Okay. Waffles over pancakes usually, but French toast over waffles usually. But I love all 3. Like, I am a fan. If you could change your hair to anything for a day, what hairstyle would you choose? Oh, that's a very good question. Did you see my Instagram stories post yesterday? Because I discovered here on TikTok, there's a filter that turns you into a blonde. And so I have this series of photos and videos of me as like a white blonde person. And I've got white blonde hair, and I never thought I would look good as a blonde. I was always like, if I were ever going to dye my hair, it would be like a dark color. I would totally rock that. And I photoshopped myself. I look good as a brunette. But y'all, that blonde, it was ethereal and amazing. Oh, it was so much fun. So I would never actually dye my hair, but I also think it would be super fun to like be able to dye my hair like pink or lavender or light blue. Like, I feel like I would be very adventurous. I also feel like if I were going to change my hairstyle, I would want to be very bold about it. So I would go with like a very short haircut. I don't think I have the face to pull it off, but I've always been extreme with my hairs, like super long hair or super short hair. Those were always kind of like the things I vibe off of most. So if I could wear a wig for a day and just like put my hair up in a bald cap, I would totally go with like a short pixie-ish type cut. Or I always thought it would be really cool to have like longer hair, like this length in the front and then short in the back, so it was like angled to the front. I would never do it because I'm like a long hair person, but I always thought it would be fun. Good question. Is there one villain that you really dislike with a passion in your books, like they're not redeemable? Yes, the Commander from the Jada duology, 100% without a shadow of a doubt, him. Also, I'm just looking, I'm like, Lowell from Golden, bad. Shadow from the Golden Trilogy. I have part of my fandom has a cult following for Shadow. He murders people. He's not sorry about it. He doesn't redeem himself, and they are in love with him. They had a name. They had a Snapchat filter, and they sent me things that they felt a lot back in the early days of my author career. Oh, I was a little concerned. But that man has a cult following, and I don't know why. Oh, I want to say another one, but I can't because it's a spoiler, because y'all don't know he's bad at first. Oh, Uncle Casper in Lions and Lambs. Awful, 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 awful. I'm going to stop because I'm going to get into spoiler territory, but let me move on with this one. Let's see. If you're comfortable, can you share how much you've invested in your books and writing? Monetarily wise, you made money. So that's going to be different from every author, and it's going to be different in different situations. You do in general, I'll speak in general terms about this. I don't mind talking about what I've done, but what I've done is a little bit different than what most people do. Because I handle things a little bit differently. So you will have to, if you are in the indie space, you're going to have to pay for editing, you're going to have to pay for formatting, you're going to have to pay for a cover. You are going to have to pay for your own marketing. If you are in the traditional space, you have to pay for your own marketing. You're going to have to pay for swag, you're going to have to pay for book conventions, you are going to have to pay for tables at book conventions, you are going to have to pay for ads, you are going to have to pay for ads on BookBub and on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. You're going to have to do a lot of different things. You will have to pay for ads on Amazon and a bunch of other platforms. There's a lot that goes into this, whether you are traditionally or indie published. If you are traditionally published, you're giving up your rights and you're not getting royalties until that book is paid for. So if you are taken on by a traditional publisher, they pay the upfront costs for the cover and the formatting and the editing and all the stuff, but then you don't make money until they cover that. So it just means you're not paying it up front. It means you're paying that on the back end. So it depends on how much you're willing to put into it and then how much you make back from it. So for me, because I'm a cover designer, I don't have to pay for covers. I'm a professional of 18 years. I got this. So I don't have to pay money on that. I don't pay for a ton of ads because I do a ton of work here on TikTok and on social media where I'm getting organic or free advertising. I do a lot of like working with other authors and creating events, so I'm trading my time for that marketing that some other people just pay for ads. So I know a lot of authors who don't do a ton of marketing, but they pay for ads, and that's how they make money on their books, whereas I spend a lot of time investing in spending with you guys, and that's how I make my money, because y'all come buy my books because you like hanging out with me. So it can be anywhere from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000, depending on what your book is, what genre you're in, what ads you're running, the things that you need to buy for it, how much you are going to be doing like different events and things like that. But you definitely, if you're getting into the publishing industry in any way, shape, or form, you should be aware you're going to have to spend at least a couple $100 on some of your advertising stuff. And you're going to have to learn how to market because you're doing 90% of that on your own. And you are going to have to learn how to sell your books for yourself or for your publisher because they ain't gonna do it for you. So you do have to put some stuff into it. You have to put some effort. You gotta put some money into it. But we can do more breakdowns on like the financial side of things, and I actually do intend on doing that over on my YouTube page. So if you're not subscribed to YouTube, make sure you head over there because that's going to be really important. I just saw the time. We are kind of getting toward the end of our time, which means I need to finish answering these questions, and I need to give away a book. So this is your last chance to get those questions in there. How do I come up with such unique names for my characters? I like to create my names. If I hear a name that I like, I try to create a variation of it. So it's not exactly the same. So I don't have like super popular names in most of my stuff, or I use names that just like feel really right. So anytime I like a name or I come up with a name, I just keep it on a running list on my phone, and then anytime I need a new character name, I'll go and consult that list and see what feels like the right fit for that character. Ice cream or hot chocolate? I am not a chocolate fan, so ice cream. Favorite character from another book series? I would probably go with Triss and Four from Divergent. I kind of love those two. Okay. Will there ever be a crossover in your book with the characters? My current books that I have out, no, because they're in very different worlds, very different realms. There's like no crossover, but I do a cool little thing. So sometimes around the holidays, I'll write kind of like little bonus scenes, and it'll be like, oh, it's Christmas time. There's a Christmas party, and all my characters are going to have a big fancy Christmas dinner party together. So here are all my characters from all the other books, and here's how they interact. Or it's New Year's, and they're throwing a New Year's Eve gala. Here are all my current characters and how they react this year to the party that they're having this year. I kind of pretend like they're actors in the movies of my books, and they are offset, hanging out behind the scenes. So you can see some crossover that way. Favorite Disney movies? Oh my gosh, I've got so many. My 5 favorite Disney princesses are Ariel and Belle and Jasmine, Rapunzel, and Elsa. So let's just go with that. But I also love like things like Lady and the Tramp, because my dog growing up was named Lady. There's just like Finding Nemo is so good. There's just so many. I can't choose. I'm such a Disney girl. If I was stuck on an island and I was stranded, which character would you want to be with? Dove Bear, because he's very good at surviving. Also, he's really cute. He is, I'm just glancing. Hang on. Yeah. Yeah. He's the one that would survive. Like, if the end of the world is happening, he's the one that's going to survive it. I want him on my team. You're dyeing your hair pink soon. That's super exciting. You'll have to show me how that looks. What book do you recommend out of all of my books? I usually recommend people start with the Jada Duology. My fans had to form an emotional support group because of it, and it's a pretty good indication of how I write. So I do recommend that's a pretty good place to be starting, although there's lots of fun ones. Is there one villain you wish you would have redeemed? No. I always knew exactly where my characters were going, what was going to become of them, how they were going to behave, and so I wrote exactly what I wanted and intended to write. I'm glancing. Oh! You know, though, there's one that I actually did not intend to redeem, and I kind of gave him a little bit of a redemption, but it is a little bit of a spoiler, so I can't tell you who it is. But there was one character who kind of actually, like, he was bad, it was bad, but he does kind of redeem himself by the end of the series, and he's in the spin-off, the not actually published yet spin-off. Y'all, thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. If you're bouncing, that's okay. We are almost at the end of today's live stream. We've got just a couple minutes, which means we are about to give away our ebooks. So before we give these away, let me remind you, I am dropping Christmas presents and surprises over the next week or two. It's going to be lots and lots of fun, and if you're not on my newsletter, that is going to be where you hear about these things first and get the freebies. So newsletter.kmrobinsonbooks.com. Get yourself over there. If you're not on my YouTube page, I have just dropped my very first author vlog. I show you the behind the scenes of how I wrote the Readers Convo series here on TikTok. I show you myself filming it, how I write my scripts, how I get everything together, and then it's a total behind the scenes look of how I create those. I have also dropped new episodes of the Show Me How You Write series, and I've got more author questions over there that I'm going to be doing for you, live readings, all the good things. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, get over there. If you are not on my Instagram page, I am dropping special holiday Christmassy type things right now inside of Instagram Reels. Really, really fun, really cool. I've got a lot of things that I've been working on for you. I'm going to show you like a gift giving guide, how to wrap books for Christmas, all the cool stuff. And bookshelf decorating videos, as well as I'm going to start a brand new series teaching you how to take bookish photos of yourself for Instagram or TikTok or wherever. So if you're not over on my Instagram, get over there because you're not going to be able to see that anywhere else. Thumbelina. Awesome. I do love Thumbelina. I have thought of some ideas for that. It is somewhere on my to-write list. TikTok is how you found my books. I know. TikTok has 7x'd my sales. My sales in November were 7 times higher than they have been every other month because of TikTok, because of my work here. TikTok's exceptional for this. Okay. Oh, no, we jumped. Hang on. Favorite genre of books to read? Retellings are my favorite, and dystopians are my favorite. Sounds like a lot of money you have to spend. Well, yeah, if you want to market your business, you absolutely have to be spending some money. But you also can be really smart about it and do a ton of stuff for free. So for me personally, I spend very, very little money on my books because I can do it all myself because I'm a trained professional. I'm a graphic designer, so I got the covers handled. I can professionally format my books because, again, I had that training. I can market it because I'm a professional marketer, so I'm not paying for much. For me, my investment is extremely low to be in this industry. I pay for things like my ISBNs, I pay for like my website, I'll pay for some ads, but the money that I am putting into this is extremely low because I'm a trained professional of 10 to 18 years on everything. Most people don't get to spend as little as I do, but I got a system. I got it figured out because I am a professional and can handle a lot of that. But yeah, with any business, no matter what it is, candle making or being a chef or being an artist or being whatever, you are going to have some type of monetary investment. So just be aware of that. Okay. Oh my goodness, so many things are coming in. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm like at time. I have to go to a dinner party. Let me real fast. Have I ever experienced someone not being nice about my writing and didn't take me seriously? Yes, all the time. People are vicious. We actually talked about that in the last live stream. We can talk about that again. Please ask me that on the next live stream because I'd really like to get into that a little bit more. But because I'm at time, I gotta wrap this up. Oh yeah, I'm not a hot chocolate fan. I'm not a chocolate fan. I'm not a candy fan. I don't drink hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't drink sodas. I'm weird, I know. Sorry. The dogs are all great. Thank you so much for asking, Anna. For interest, yes. Any of my books in Kindle Unlimited? No, because when your books are in Kindle Unlimited, you are not allowed to have your books on any other platform. And if you do, they can take away all of your money that you've earned from it. So you're locked into a 3-month contract, and you can't have them on any other platform. You can only sell it through Amazon. So that's severely limiting to my audience. Some people have built an audience specifically on Amazon, and they do really well. But I have way too many people buy through like Barnes & Noble or iBooks or Kobo or whatever. So right now I do not have my books in Kindle Unlimited because so many people wouldn't be able to access them. Okay, I'm seeing questions. I'm sorry, I'm skipping some of these because I gotta wrap this up. Do I edit my books myself? You always have to edit your books yourself. It's called self-editing. So you go through and you fix all your nonsense. Then you have to send it to a professional editor, period. You always have to use a professional editor. If you don't, you're going to get crucified in the reviews, and you are the kind of person that's going to make a bad name for all indie authors. So please don't do that. If you are getting into this industry, you have to use a professional editor, period. No exceptions. Yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate that. We're going to give away a book. I have never seen the Bee Movie. I do not know about that one. You didn't know that about it on Amazon. I know. Tricky, right? Yes, I do play instruments. I do and have played instruments. We could talk about that on the next one because I need to give away a book. Okay, guys, let's give away a book because I gotta go. I got a dinner party to get to. So if you are the person who is selected for this fabulous, wonderful friends, you have to decide which book you want. You cannot come ask me which book you should get. That's not going to happen. You are going to go over to Amazon and you're going to read the blurbs, and you're going to come to me on Instagram, in messaging on Instagram, and you are going to DM me on Instagram. I'm sorry, I had to stop with my scrolling. You're going to DM me on Instagram with the one that you want, and then I will send it after my dinner party tonight. Any book is up for grabs, aside from the omnibuses, because there's more than one book in one, and I don't limit how many times you win, so the more you show up, the more you can win. Kira, my dearest Kira, you have won today. Congratulations. DM me, please, over on Instagram, or you can email me if you don't have Instagram, or... No, email me. Email me is important. I was going to say you could do it on TikTok, but TikTok doesn't let you send active links, so you can't even download it. So let me know your choice, and I will get that to you later tonight after my dinner party. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel and to my Instagram, please head on over there, and please leave some love on my TikToks, because I don't know what's going on with TikTok lately, but they have been doing some wonky things, and my videos have not been seen by too many people. In fact, last night I was like temporarily blocked, and for a full hour it wouldn't show my video to anybody. I think it was a TikTok glitch, and I think a lot of people went through it. But please go bump that. Leave some comment, love. Alright, I'll see you guys on YouTube. I will see you on Instagram. I got some cool things coming for you this weekend and early next week, so thank you all so much for hanging out. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you again really soon. Bye, friends.